ideas can come from anywhere and we encourage you to apply. And while that is true, it can be kind of daunting of like, well, wait, is my idea, like what makes it come together? And as you three have all been through that application process of really honing it into 500 words with no images, kind of those decisions that you went through to kind of persuade it or convey it or really kind of put it together for the first time.
Yeah, I definitely think the kind of the unusual criteria for the open call process, is something that makes it much less alienating, and I think it is really, something quite special to be, in a position to just, be judged on the basis of the idea simply, and on its own merit. And also the diversity of the jury obviously makes a big difference because you get out of that kind of art world circuit as well, where you're just making things for the same audiences, over and over again in this kind of endless, feedback loop. So I found that a really sort of refreshing part of the process.
I realized that we wanted to have some really serious conversations, and I think the jurors did recognize the necessity for those conversations and supported the need for us to have those conversations, and that is probably why we got such good ratings from them.
And I think one thing that has to happen in life is you have to have confidence that you have a unique perspective, no matter that other people are researching the same thing or doing art exhibits on the same thing. You're going to come up with something that's uniquely yours and contribute to a larger discussion. So you shouldn't be afraid of overlap. And I tell that to my students as well. Don't be afraid of overlap. Otherwise, you'll never do anything.
So when the opportunity of the open call came up, we did realize that it's an opportunity to take, because this is 2 years of road trips across over 4/5 of the country. Like we really went to almost everywhere in the country, and there were all these materials, all these artists we had conversations with, traveled with, people we've met in different places, interactions we've had. And it was more of a case of now taking all those conversations that we had while traveling on the road, we had with people there, all those images and everything. How do we now bring it to Lagos, which is infamous for being the most populated city in Nigeria? So how do we bring this to them so that after we have interacted with these lives on the road during these programs, we can also make these people in Lagos interact with those people there. And the interesting thing about Lagos is a sort of potpourri of Nigeria in a sense, because Lagos attracts people from every single part of Nigeria. So it's like a sample pot, so to say, where every part of Nigeria is sampled inside it, right? So we understand that it will be difficult for people to find, to be able to relate with people from different parts of the country, but they just need to see it. The proposal was basically having conversations, or rather exploring conversations around this diversity and this issue of the identity of Nigeria as a country. And it's not just because of Nigeria, but it's using Nigeria as a case study for other colonized countries who have had identities forced on them. More because we have all accepted this identity handed down without questioning it. Now, we are not saying, let us break this identity. We are saying, if we must be Nigeria, let us have conversations about what it means to be Nigeria.
When I was writing the proposal, I sort of needed to find a way to frame the idea of, that I had about the kind of mugshot seeming like this kind of form of punishment already in its own right. And I'd been thinking about the kind of dehumanizing way that we view crime and kind of crime fighting as a form of entertainment, and grew up with shows like Cops and stuff, which I always found really unsettling. And the kind of basic structure of the proposal came together for me kind of through this discovery of what are called rogues galleries. When crafting the proposal, I started thinking about how I hadn't known about rogues galleries really, and started thinking then about how websites like mugshots.com and these other kind of predatory sites that profit off of people's humiliation and mock their subjects might be viewed as a kind of, modern day rogues gallery. And I really wanted to sort of interrogate, I guess, why it was that we had continued creating and publicizing these clearly like damning images when already in the 1800s we knew very well that they undermined, one of the kind of core tenets of the American criminal justice system, which is that in the court of law, you're meant to be innocent until proven guilty.
So when they started constructing the US-Mexico border wall, Margaret and I wrote a grant to do research on it, and we started to do research. And we were running around with the anthropology of security people who were studying, the security state, encarcelment, algorithms, just what Lizzie said earlier. And so we started writing about those topics. And we were in New York City as visiting professors at Brooklyn College. And that's when we sort of wandered into apexart. And there was this wonderful exhibit done by a group out of Bard College on drones. And they were really trying to get at, what does it mean to live in a place where you're constantly listening to hear the worry, the sort of whirring noise of the drone so that you can run to safety, or that you look to the sky and you should be able to identify specific types of drones, for your own personal safety, or wonder about how to hide yourself from a drone. And we thought, well, that's kind of what we're doing with our research on the US-Mexico border. We're trying to figure out how border security is changing and affecting the lives of everyday people. And that's what we ended up writing our book about. So we thought, well, we'll try this. And, we had written about photography of the border and media coverage of the border. So we were already kind of in the visual realm. And so we decided we would try this, and we wrote our 500-word proposal, which was really hard because we're not used to writing such short pieces. And we kept wanting to go rambling in all kind of different directions. But I think the beginning line, which everyone uses now, which I think we invented, but we probably didn't, was, since the fall of the Berlin Wall, over 35 countries have constructed walls. Mm-hmm. Why is this happening? And now you see that line all over the place. And I think that's the one we started our proposal with. So to our surprise, we came in second place. I don't know. We were in the top 3, and that's what you needed. There were a lot of things that were just a whole lot of fun that just shows how difficult it is to curate well. And I think that's where a lot of your ideas come from. You got to be willing to fail. You got to be willing to try something out. And if it doesn't work, try something else out. And so, if you're willing to accept the idea that you do have a unique perspective, then go with it. It may not work all the time, but it's going to work some of the time. And when it does, it's going to feel magical.